So, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, this is the 2024 series, not the 90s series or the movie. The movie's good. Yeah, so it becomes a little unclear in the starting portion about how they got involved in this whole let's get married as assassins bit. And then it becomes clearer and clearer that it's a government thing. That to me seems like a bizarre plot point because you're operating on US soil. Like the actors are competent, but at the end of the day, y- you're watching a show about people who start off their work as domestic terrorists. And the like I I know that the US government perpetually uses just ever since 9/11 the FBI has used something like 300 sometimes pederasts like people labeled as informants as de facto civilian agents to go after people with mental instability and people. And one of the earliest cases was a bunch of black guys trying to scam a guy to give them money for a fake terror to do terrorism in the US. And it was so obvious, but like the FBI legitimately has hundreds of false flag operations where they radicalize, they entrap people with mental disabilities into falling for their trap, supplying them with guns and like fake bomb vests and like it's this whole scam like the words let's get a Hollywood ending were are on record in one of those things. So the government doing domestic terrorism, I get it. Yeah, it's a legitimate thing that could happen, but it's like it's a comedy show that wants to be serious at the same time, right? So I'm watching this thing. I think some world building doesn't make sense. Blah blah blah. Continue, continue, continue. You get to the episode where Hellboy is visiting for an episode, and it's like pretty obvious that those people with guns are trying to kill them, but they're not getting it. And I thought like, oh, he's an old man. He pisses himself. Blah blah blah. Depressing. That felt good at the moment, but then a little while later in a following episode, they're like having their truth serum nonsense conversation, and it's like pretty fucking they literally talk about how they are racist about the wife being half white and how her I don't know if it's her dad who's supposed to be white or her mom, but they're racist against the whiteness. So that recontextualizes that whole episode that seemed good with Hellboy, like visiting, being an old, like tired assassin, blah blah blah. And then you juxtapose But if I take that episode as an actual serious thing, I have to then compare it mentally to the surprise. Let's go on a super extreme mission. Oh no, it's just you two. Bye. Like, it just like how am I supposed to see this show? Like, is it not serious and fun? Is it serious, or is it just blatantly a mashup of different ideas, and it's written by racist writers? Like, there is this idea among like rich Hollywood people. Well, I don't know if they're rich Hollywood people, I think. But there is this idea among rich, wealthier, stupid people online that you cannot, like in colleges, there's this idea that you cannot be racist against white people because racism by definition is institutional and blah blah blah, and that's the only definition that counts. Blah, you cannot be racist against white people. Yeah, like, I mean, it's a decent enough watch because the actors are good and they have stuff to work with. But there's like these glaring issues. They're like the fucking prank like mission situation just breaks the logic of the show. The the myth of the fucking truth serum is stupid. Um uh like you like the because of that scene with the truth serum, the Hellboy episode, which seemed good at the time, it is just recontextualized as just another form of anti-white racism. Let's be racist against old white men for no reason whatsoever. Not a specific actual reason. Like, no one bothers to actually like put in something like that time wherein the NYPD conspired to frame Malcolm X's guards for a bombing of the Statue of Liberty, and then he magically gets shot right after that bullshit. Like, ah, there's not there. It's not serious. It just feels serious on accident. I think like it's a bit of a clusterfuck. If you can look past the whole logical inconsistency of how their missions are handled, like time skipping through the show could have worked better. Like there, like I feel like there has been a lot of character development that just is missing. But I get it. It's like speed through jump, jump, jump across their relationship. That can work. Like, it feels a little annoying that it was skipped. It worked in Sword Art Online the first season, like the skipping through various chapters in a relationship. Like, it worked there. It kind of works here too, but like at the same time, the show just kind of drags because of all the missing content that just like so we're having the like a we're listening to them bitch about this and this, and the more it goes on, the more nonsensical it becomes. Like, why did they burn down the house of the woman who was like shouldn't they have just stuffed something flammable inside of like a container of ice or done something different? Like I feel like there could have been a way to time delay set the house on fire. Like it just becomes too unbelievable. So a mixed race couple runs away from an explosion on U.S. territory, and it like presumably the CIA like arranges for them not to be caught or something, and they just hang out at this one spot where they realize, oh, you're a Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and we're not going to confirm this at all with our like cell phone like cue people it just like I am frustrated with this show because a lot of the stuff that isn't fucking retarded is pretty good. Like they show us a good Mr. and Mrs. Smith couple that would have been fun to watch at the start, and they kill them, right? And then there's like, oh, here's the mixed race people, and here's their relationship. And at the end of the day, it's like, why did I watch this? Like, sure, the actors are so competent that they're like worth watching, but like the story has major fucking flaws. And it just like I feel like if I watched the second season, those flaws would just continue and get worse and worse. So it's just like I could I could just as well spend my time watching a good movie with a good couple. Like I don't know, Entrapment's good. Like there's a late 90s Polish movie called Sarah where an actual teenager was cast to play the teenager who falls in love with her bodyguard. And the bodyguard is like 40 and he's like an accomplished actor with his own trilogy of crime movies. And the actors in that, in spite of the age difference, are just so good. Like, have such good chemistry, and you just like end up rooting for them. Like, like the actual teenage girl was chosen not because she's a teenager and hot, but because she's a teenager, hot, and capable of acting, and it's and there's like actual good storytelling. So why the hell would I watch the second season and not just look up reviews from older stuff that did this stuff a million times better? It just doesn't make any sense.